Okay, this is the P1 paper from June 2023. It's question number 3. It's from the Quadratics chapter, but in particular, we are going to be completing the square. Let's have a look at part A. Part A says, can we express 3x squared plus 12x plus 13, and we want it in the form ax plus b squared plus c, but that is completing the square, isn't it? Now, I'd very strongly suggest that you all would probably have a method that you know how to do this by from your IGCSE work. Stick with your own method. I'll show you my method, but if you've got a method that you're happy with and it works, then just stick with that. My one's doing it this way. So what I would do is I would see that I've got 3x squared and I only want x squared when I'm completing the square. So I have to take 3 out as a factor, which is going to give me x squared plus 4x plus 13 over 3. Leave it as a fraction. We'll be working with fractions when we're doing it. And it's now this thing here that I'm completing the square on. And for me, when I'm completing the square, what I'm interested in is that value there. I always do the same thing. I half it, I square it, I add it on and take it off. Now that sounds complicated, but it doesn't when you said it for the 1000th time, which is how it feels like I'm saying it. So half it is 2. Add on 2 squared, take off 2 squared, plus 13 over 3. Some of your teachers would have taught you a quicker version of this. Once I've got that, I can just look at this term here and say that is x plus 2 all squared. So for me, just having a little bit more understanding of seeing that that part there is x plus 2 all squared, some of your teachers might just have said straight away, write it as this term that I'm writing down, or this expression that I'm writing down there, just do minus 2 squared. We need to sort out just these two terms there. This is 3 lots of x plus 2 all squared, and what is minus 4 plus 13 over 3? Well, that works out to be plus a third there. Now, that is completing the square there, but they have said that they want this c to just to be a number on its own, not with a factor of it. So if we multiply everything by 3 again now, multiply that bracket back out again, I'll actually get 3 lots of 1 over 3, obviously, is that. Now I've got it in actually the correct format for what I'm doing. So part A should be really, really straightforward, guys. You should be able to do that if you're doing P1 exam. Part B, sketch the curve with the equation. So sketch that curve, and we need to show coordinates of the y-intercept and the turning points of the curve. Well, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Certainly the turning points, because the turning points are already here when we're trying to work it out. If I've got something written down as a completing the square, we know, let's just really quickly go through it, that the minimum that x plus 2 squared can be is when all of that's equal to 0 squared. So for 0 squared, x has to be equal to minus 2. So let's just write this in before we do it. Part B, for the minimum point, we know it's going to be minus 2, because that would make that 0 squared. And if that is minus 2, which makes that 0 squared, 3 lots of 0 squared, 3 lots of 0, 0 plus 1 means that the point there is minus 2, 1. So if you've done a lot of work on completing the square, that shouldn't be a problem to us at all. Where's it going to hit the y-axis? So the y-axis is going to be when x equals 0. So for y-intercept, we just want x will be equal to 0. So f0 is going to be 3 lots of 0 plus 2 squared plus 1, which is 12 plus 1, which is 13. So now I've got more than enough information to be able to sketch this quadratic out. And be careful about this one, okay? Because, yeah, it is a quadratic. It is a positive quadratic. We know it's going to have this shape here. But actually, we know it's got a minimum point at minus 2, 1. So if that's true, then where we've got that minimum point there, and then coming back up here, we know that because that's the point minus 2, 1 here, and this is the point 13 here, it can't possibly cut the x-axis. So you've got to make sure that you don't draw it anywhere other than that for the sketch. So, yeah, not too bad at all. A nice straightforward completing the square question. Hopefully that all makes sense to you all.